All right, everyone, welcome to the video. I want to show you what my nutrition process looks like so that way you know how I get clients from this to this. And I'm going to show you step by step what I do, how I'm taking from clients from fat to fit and keeping all the fat off and keeping them healthy and obviously eating more food. We're going to show you a whole group call. So I would set aside anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes to kind of understand, take some notes, and that way you understand how I help clients basically get their dream body. And I'm going to go a little bit more into my own story too, because my nutrition process came about from my experiences that I went through with intermittent fasting, with unsustainable dieting. I've tried keto, carnivore, intermittent fasting, all the things, and it led me to nothing but sadness. If you get any big takeaways from the video, comment them down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the video.
Welcome. Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the group call, second group call of the week after Ashes. So this will be fun. So y'all voted for macros and science and more gut health stuff from the Discord. So that's what I'm giving you. So we're going to talk about macros for your season, how to calculate them, how I kind of do my process. It's probably a little different from other coaches, but this is my process. So, and you probably will see a lot of familiar things from like Google Sheets and stuff. So let's get into it. So what we want to do when we're doing macros, we're going to want to find your true maintenance. What is true maintenance? Well, finding your true maintenance, there's true maintenance and versus calculated maintenance. Maintenance is just the calories that your body needs in order to maintain your weight, current weight right now. It can be 3,000 calories. It can be 1,500 calories. It just truly depends. So true maintenance, well, let's go to calculated maintenance. Calculated maintenance is what the calculators on every website gives you. So even my calculator, the ones that all the Google Sheets that you guys have, that's a calculator maintenance. Those aren't true maintenances. They don't give you the answer. True maintenance is the calories at which your body actually needs to maintain a 3 to 5 pound range or a 1 to 3% of your body weight. And most people are never eating at their true maintenance unless they know how to adjust the calories and the macros. So here are a couple steps for us to get your macros. Step 1, most of you, first week, probably a week and a half or so, start tracking your normal intake and start building the habit of tracking first of all. And then we want you to track at least 1 week, right? The more data, the better. And we're going to take an average of those calories for the week or more to help us get some data. We're going to take the average. And then your weight should probably not rise above 1 to 3% of your body weight a week, depending on how long we track. Want to make sure that you're still maintaining like that 3 to 5 pound range or that 1 to 3%. Okay. Pretty easy. And this is the thesis, right? This is a pretty easy thesis. Now we're going to go into deeper depths of how to do it. So we want your body at homeostasis. Homeostasis is when your gut health is regulated, your hormones are regulated, your strength is solid, your sleep is great, and all the things, your relationship with food is getting better and all this stuff within nutrition at least, right? And it's showing up everywhere else. So all the biofeedback questions that I ask you in the check-in, that's what's important, right? We want your body to adapt to the calories that we give you, right? Adapt is obviously what sounds like it means. You just want your body to adjust to the new normal of eating more food or less food, depending on what your situation is. The goal is to get this maintenance, to get to this maintenance spot and not be at a such volatile zone. What that means is instead of, yo-yo dieting or crash dieting and then losing 5 pounds, gaining 10 pounds back, we want to make sure that's why I said we want to make sure that you're in a tight range. 3 to 5 pounds is ideal, but 1 to 3% is a little more accurate depending on your body weight, right? So find where you're at on this chart and start working up on a higher average to maintenance. I didn't put the chart in, so ignore that. So we're going to go to the next slide. I used this instead. So I'm going to explain all the circled parts. I didn't do little animations this time because it was going to take a fuck ton of time. So I'm going to give you an estimated maintenance calculation example. I'm going to use me. Okay, and then I'm going to use other clients. We'll have it make sense. So we're first going to look at my stats. I'm 5'10", I'm 30. I know I look like I'm 21. I know. I'm 182 and I'm sedentary, right? Well, I'm not really sedentary. This is just where I put everyone at, right? I put in parentheses here. This is where I start everyone at. This is important. I don't care if you're getting 20K steps a day. I start you off at sedentary. That's just the process. Why? Because we'd rather undershoot your calories and work up to a target rather than overshooting and then have you gain weight. And then you freak out and then you crash diet and then blah, blah, blah. So I've seen people that are like super sedentary and they think that they're very active. It's nuts. People overestimate their activity. You'd be surprised. And so if I put all this stuff into the calculator that you guys have, obviously the big part where it says your height, age, weight, gender, goal, and then we put sedentary where it says activity level here at the first cell, if you see that, where it says sedentary, little to no exercise. And then I'm going to put my goal at maintenance, and then the calorie percentage is 0. It doesn't matter what the calorie percentage is, just for the sake of the example. We're going to look at this circle right here where it says 2140 for the total calories, and then maintenance calories is also 2140. And then your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is 1780. Basal metabolic rate is just your metabolic rate, estimated. Again, this is estimated. So that means since I put in my numbers, my calculated maintenance estimated is 2140, right? So my macros are 182 protein, 230 carb, and 55 fat. This is just the format. I'll show you how I got those. So protein, if you look at this cell right here, it says protein, and the yellow cell says 1. That's just 1 gram per pound of body weight. So 1 gram per pound of body weight. And if you have a higher body fat, you want to be anywhere between 0.7 to 0.9 grams per pound of body weight. And if you have a lower body fat, if you're relatively lean, you want to be having a little bit more protein, right? Because if you're like 400 pounds, you don't want to be at 1 gram per pound of body weight. Doesn't make sense. You want to be at the lower range. You can also use, convert these to percentages. So 0.7 would be 70%. 0.9 would be 90% of your body weight. And then 1 is just 100% and so on. So depending on how lean you are, adjust your protein intake. Ideally, I like to have protein intake as high as fucking possible. Why? Because 1, it is the most satiating macronutrient of all of them. And I can teach you more about like the TDEE stuff, which is your total daily energy expenditure, but I didn't go into that on this slide deck, but I will next time to help you understand that part. And then we adjust the next highlighted cell, which is fats right here. The third line, or not the third line, but like, from the bottom. And I put 0.3. So how do I get that? Well, I have ranges for all of those. For cutting, if you're going to be cutting, you want to be 0.28 to 0.32 grams per pound of body weight. And then maintenance is 0.32 to 0.36. And bulking is 0.36 to 0.69 grams per pound of body weight. I know that sounded like a lot, but this is all in your Google Sheets. Like if you are wanting to, you're good, John. No good. You're good, brother. If you want to look at it, look at the Google Sheet and it will tell you these little notes. These are always there for you guys. That's why you see them every week and I show you how to adjust and why I'm in the certain range. So, and then the carbs are just the remaining calories. So we just take 2140 and then subtract the calories they got from 182 and then 55. And we can do the math here, but it's not necessary. We have calculators for that. So let's say for the example that I came into the program, my own program, let's just say like there's a twin of me, and I tracked for 10 days and I ate at 1600 calories on average for the weekly, right? So that would be fucking crazy because that's really low for me. So if I ate at 1600 calories, now we have a point A, which is 1600 calories, and a point B, which is 2140, this estimated maintenance, right? Our goal is to work up and take baby steps towards point B. So now we bump up calories by 5 to 10% using this calorie percentage right here. So if we look up at this side where it says activity level, the goal, and the calorie percentage, we want to adjust calorie percentage by 5 to 10%, depending on, your size, your height, age, all that stuff. So, and then we want to adjust it every 1 to 3 weeks based on your progress pics and your weigh-ins and your hunger cues and your sleep and your stress, your relationship with food, all that stuff. If you're having a lot of shit that's going on, I'm not going to bump food. There's no reason. But sometimes, depending on the person, more food can be more beneficial because high stress, most people, if you're highly stressed, then if you have a little bit more food, not overindulge, right? Don't eat like an asshole. If you have a little bit more food, it should reduce the amount of stress because, you know, there's a lot of studies that say that carbs are directly correlated to reducing some cortisol depending on the timing and so on, right? That's why people say like have it post-workout and then right before bed so that way you can go to sleep, lower cortisol and so on. So that's estimated maintenance. So and again, if anyone has any questions about anything, type it in the chat. You know I'm a slut for the chat. We use it. I don't want to just throw all this stuff at you guys and everyone be confused. I want to explain things better when we're on our calls especially. So throw them in the chat if you guys have any questions, but if not, I'll keep going. So if we were to do a 5% increase, we would go from 2140 to 2250, right? This is after we have met point B, right? Let's say we make a bunch of small increases from 1600 to 2140, and it takes like, I don't know, three bumps, right? We hit 2140 and we're like, oh, I'm still losing weight. So that means we still have more room for food. So I'm going to increase food by, again, another 5%. And we go from 2140 to 2250. And then new goals are 182 protein. Oh, I'm a liar. Wait, no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm good. 182 protein, 257 carb, and 55 fat. Okay. So we basically went from 230 carb to 257. So what, about 27 grams. And that's it. I didn't change anything else. I didn't change protein. I didn't change fats. That's why they're highlighted yellow, because those are the most important, right? If we're going in order of priority, it's always going to be protein, fats, and carbs last. Always. Fats are always important for hormone health, for brain clarity, for, you know, gut absorption, for nutrient absorption, for your gut health, and hormones, especially for women. Want to make sure that you guys are, that's why I put percentages here. Like men should be in 20 to 30% of your overall calorie percentage. And then women 25 to 30%. Okay. No lower than 50 grams. I like to, some coaches will say 45. Better be safe than sorry. I just do 50, keep it even. So that's it. And then we bump up food like this until we reach point B, right? So I just continue bumping up food until I reach point B, and yeah. And then as long as we're losing weight, or we're building muscle, either way, it depends on the goal. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. So finding your true maintenance, we continue to do this bump until your weight bops around in a 3 to 5 pound range, depending on where you're at. Ideally, we just want, for the sake of the calculator, right? Keep activity at sedentary. You don't have to adjust that. The less variables that you fuck with, easier, right? And continue adjusting your calorie percentage. So if we go back to the, you guys can maybe open up your calculator while you're watching this. The calorie percentage is this very bottom variable on all your calculators. So maybe adjust it depending on where you're at. Okay. Now, these are important. So, so when you adjust the goal within the calculator from maintenance to deficits, so cutting or bulking, we have a range, right? So let's say, it would be easier if I showed you live too, which I can. But anyway, 15 to 20% is conservative, meaning if I were to go sedentary, cutting, put you in a goal for cutting, and then, you know, cut 20% of your calories, that's a conservative cut. If I cut 25% max of your calories, that's a moderate cut. Anything above 25 to 30% is pretty aggressive, right? And same thing for bulks. So what this tells us is that all cuts, all bulks, and all maintenances, I guess, are zones, because there's a percentage range, right? They're all ranges. They're not just one set of calories that you stick to forever, right? They need to be adjusted for a reason, and you need to adjust them to find the sweet spot for us to hit your goals. So, I got ahead of myself. Maintenance is a zone, not just one set of calories. A zone can range anywhere from 200 to 400 calories or more, depending on the person. If you're 6'5", it's going to range more. If you're 5'0", it's not going to range that much, right? It depends on your build. We can use the zone to our advantage later to keep fat off, right? I like to be at the top end of maintenance, at the low end of maintenance to kind of main gain or maybe moderately cut. And that's usually in this moderate zone, 25 to 20%, or 20 to 25% is a sweet spot for most people to hang out for a cut or a deficit. If you're getting aggressive, it depends on your mindset and stuff like that. So let's say I hit my true maintenance, right? My weight is bopping around 3 to 5 pounds. Now what? You want to hang out, okay? Hang out 4 to 6 weeks. I said at the beginning of everything, we want to adapt. We want to hit homeostasis. Your body needs time to adapt, get hungrier, get stronger, build muscle. That shit does not happen overnight, I promise you. Yes, it's going to feel a little uncomfy. Yes, it's going to feel like you're eating a fuck ton of food. Yes, your body's going to need time to adjust. It's just part of the process. This is where people usually like, oh, I'm not used to this. I'm going to give up. This doesn't sound right. So your body needs to adapt and create a new homeostasis, better gut health, getting stronger in the gym, better sleep, regulated hormones, right? If your body can adapt to very, very low calories, it can adapt to very high calories. Right now, I'm eating the most I've ever have, and my weight is now doing the thing, right? I'm eating at 35, which I usually main gain at like 3,200 calories. But I decided to like push calories to get some strength and allow my body to adapt. And it's kind of like bopping around in a much bigger range than it used to. And that's normal. And I'm used to it. I'm allowing my body to do the thing. And I'm feeling hungrier now. I was doing it for like, I don't know, 3 to 5 weeks. And now it's like, okay, now it's working. Now the thing is doing the thing. So you want to monitor, okay? This is why we do data. Get yourself out of your own fucking head. Progress pics, weigh-ins, calories, obviously track them. So that way I can see how you're doing. You can see how you're doing, and want to make sure that the progress looks the way that we're not always expecting, but we have some data to see how you progress as we increase food or decrease food. You need data, foo. I put that. And the scale means nothing, right? The scale means nothing. The phone call that I was on, I don't know if you guys, the people that were waiting in the room, I was on a phone call with someone that's like, that over prioritizing the scale. So the scale means nothing when the biofeedback markers are way better than where you came from, right? Your sleep, your stress, your digestion, your strength, your relationship with food, how you view yourself, all those stuff, all that stuff in the check-in that you guys do, that's outside of how much do you weigh. That's like 98% of the check-in, right? That's why that's much more important, right? Are you feeling stronger? Do you have libido? Are you feeling better mental clarity, better stress or less stress, so on? So let's say, but I'm scared of eating more. What if I gain weight? Well, there are 3 outcomes. 3 outcomes that you cannot control. And cannot is in a very, what's the word? It's a very floaty word. And I say that because you can control them, or you can mitigate. You can mitigate, but you can't control, if that makes sense. So the first outcome is you can gain weight during maintenance. I've seen it, happens, it's normal. Do not get discouraged here. We are simply giving up losing fat in the short term so we can lose fat easier in the long term. If you're gaining weight, there's a high chance most of it is muscle, maybe a little bit is fat, but that's okay because muscle stays and fat doesn't, right? Muscle stays forever as long as you're eating enough and you're building muscle and you're doing the things that you're supposed to, building a lifestyle, right? Following the pillars that I tell you in the check-ins. Our goal is sustainability, not crash dieting, right? You're giving up the short-term goal of losing fat so we can do it easier down the road and it melts off. The second outcome, you can maintain weight during maintenance, right? That's ideal because what? This can be a good situation. If you're eating more and you're maintaining weight, that's a win. Why the fuck are you stressing out? 3 to 5 pounds is fine. Don't stress. You're eating more. It's good. Use it in the gym. And the third outcome is you lose weight during maintenance. I've seen it happen. This type of person is more of a hyper responder. It's like 1 out of 20 people. I've seen it happen to more women, to be honest, but also really tall men. So meaning their metabolism was severely downregulated, meaning you were eating pebbles for food. You weren't eating at all. And the calories, and your metabolism basically needed the calories and protein to burn the fat. Does that make sense? So you're basically, your body was starving. And when you gave it food, it was like, thank God there's rain. And it started, basically you gave it fuel for it to actually do the processes that it needed. Or they're highly active after increasing their calories, right? Calories are energy through NEAT. And I didn't explain this, but NEAT, this acronym is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, meaning people increase their activity after increasing their calories. So like non-exercise activity thermogenesis is just like me talking with my hands, blinking, getting up to go to the bathroom, laundry, like just getting up and doing normal things that are not considered activity or exercise. They are considered activity, but they're not considered exercise. So the more NEAT that you do, because when people have really low calories, they don't want to get up from the couch and get the remote. Now that you have food, you're like, oh, I'm going to cook. I'm going to go clean. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to go walk my dog. I'm going to go, climb a mountain. I don't know. You want to do more. So use the calories, because calories are energy. That's the actual definition of them. So next is a cut or a bulk. Let's see. I'm going to continue my example. So find your true maintenance. We're going to continue my example of ramping up small me at 1,600 calories. That's what I came in at, right? If we remember, to 2140. And let's say I keep ramping up food. Let's say I go all the way to 55% in bulking mode, right? And we bump calories all the way to 3,200. That's basically double. That is double. Perfect. Easy numbers to remember, right? So that's basically, I have way more room to play with now, right? So this is where my weight spikes out of a 3 to 5 pound range. So we found the top end of the maintenance. And I'll show you what that looks like later. So you don't really have to pay attention to that. So kind of ignore that for now. It'll come around. For estimation purposes, my zone for maintenance, right, can be 400 calories less than the top end. So if the top end is 3,200 calories, let's just subtract 400 from that, and that would be 2,800. So let's just say 2,800 to 3,200 is my maintenance, right? That's a zone. Fair? So let's say I hold for 48 weeks, like I said, just letting my body do the thing, getting stronger, using the calories, and so on. Let's say we're cutting. Let's say I want to go into a cut after being at 3,200, right? Fat loss 1. I always call them fat loss 1, depending on, fat loss 3, whatever. Fat loss 1 would be, we're going to want to subtract 10 to 15% for the first drop and monitor, right? So like I said, we want to adjust this calorie percentage right here in the calculator. Now that we found true maintenance and my weight is bobbing around 3 to 5 pound range at 3,200, right? So if we drop 10 to 15%, I didn't do that calculation for you guys, but let's just assume, I don't know, it's 2,800. It's probably a little less or a little more, probably 2,950 or something like that. So if I were to bulk though, like a real bulk and go outside of my maintenance, I would add 5 to 10% from here, depending on how much fat you're willing to tolerate, since we're at the top end of maintenance, right? Since I'm at the top end, we want to take smaller increases, right? It's easier to take big increases from the very bottom until we find true maintenance, let it do its thing, and then take smaller increases as we go on, because otherwise fat can accumulate pretty fast. But it's how much you're willing to tolerate, because I know how to cut it off fast. It's more of a mindset thing. So I'm going to give you guys an example. This is a client, okay? This is, I'm going to try and walk you through it. I know there was no animations for this. I didn't want to do that whole thing. So this far left is a screenshot from their Google Sheet. On the far left column, we have the phase, the week, After that, the date of the week, and then the target macros that I gave them, and the weekly average. So the first week that they came in, tracked intuitively, they were eating at 1770 basically. So week 1, and they were at 280 pounds, right? And then at week 5, we ramped up calories all the way to 2600, right? So at 2600, week 5, they were at 275. So ranging 5 pounds, right? And they started 5 pounds less, kind of like decreasing food. We're not increasing food and losing weight this whole time, right? And then at 2400 calories at week 9, you can see every time I label a thingy on the first column, that's when I change calories, right? So fat loss, week 9, which was the 2nd of February. This was last year, actually. And we were at 2400 calories. That was his first drop. Nothing crazy, because we went from 2600 to 2400, right? So 2600 was the maintenance that we found. And then 2400 was the first fat loss phase. So 200 calories is not a lot at all. It's probably just maybe a tad just to kind of help his body adjust to the new fat loss phase. But even then, he lost 7 pounds. So we went from 2600 to 2200, 2400, sorry. And we did that from week 9 to 14. So that's what, quick math, 5 weeks or 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And we went from 273 to 266, so 7 pounds. So after that, at week 14, that's when I changed calories. And then you see it says refeed protocol. This is supposed to say refeed protocol. I gave him a refeed. So every Saturday, he would basically have more food to accommodate for like the lack of food that he had during the week, because he had to eat a lot of protein and not a lot of carbs. So we went from 2400 to 2100. And that was the refeed protocol week, which was week 14. And we went from 266 to 263. So still losing weight, okay? And this is still the same, but it's this is just a different picture on the far left. So now I'm doing weeks 22 and on. So after that, we went to a 1650. We went to 1650 calories and maintenance. So week 22 to week 24, these 2 weeks, these 2 weeks, week 22 and 23 were actually like kind of life happened for him. You know, shit hits the fan every now and then. No one's perfect. So, you know, that's what happened. So we did basically a diet break for week 23. But in week 24, we did fat loss 4, the 4th adjustment. So that was in May 20th. So it was week, go back. Week 24 to 29, right? We went from 260, my freaking thing cut off. I'm gonna say 253. I can't see the thing because I cut it off. Let me see. 255. Let me bring that in. There you go. Ignore this. Okay. It's all fine. Okay. Beautiful. So we went from 260 to 255. So I lost another 5 pounds. Cool. So after that, he is basically in a diet break for a couple weeks because life happened again and it does a thing, and that's okay. So the diet break was from August 26th to basically a whole month, right? To September 30th. So where this little V of a shaped thing is, we basically went from 260 to 255. So, no, sorry, 245 to 253. So we basically ended up at like a net 0, right? Because at week 24, we ended up at 255. And then at the end of the diet break, we were at 253. So 2 pounds like negative, but still, you know. So diet break for a little while to let his metabolism basically reset. Everyone needs diet breaks. People need them in order to, you know, take a break from the shit, because you shouldn't always be dieting. So there's structure to this. We don't want to just crash diet you and just keep you in a fat loss phase forever. That's just not how it works. Otherwise, you'd be, you know, losing a lot of fucking muscle, and we don't want to do that. So this is David. That's who I was talking about. We went from 280 to 253, and then life happened, and then he left the program. So, but he's been in here a couple times. He's still in the community and doing this thing. But still a really good way for us to understand like dieting phases. So I'll show you a different client. This is Miguel. So this one's why you need to spend less time. Why you need to spend time building and less time cutting. So I'm going to make this one simple. We found maintenance at 3,000 calories at the bottom end. The top end of maintenance was 3,400 calories. And we kept spiking food until his weight spiked out for like 1 day or 2 days, right? You see this little spike right here at 3,600 calories. So that's where he started off at. And we basically took him through a very aggressive cut because he was the type of person to track all his food, do it really consistently, train really hard, get good sleep, low stress, high hunger cues. He was always fucking hungry. It was crazy. So his metabolism responded really, really well, right? And some people just like the more food that you give them, the hungrier they get, and they stay on track with everything, and that's great. So I was like, okay, this is a pretty good candidate for a mini cut. So we did a mini cut, aggressive, 4 weeks, lost 15 pounds. That's what you look like. Not everyone does it. I put people through it, but not everyone deserves it, basically. Everyone has to earn their fat loss phase. And that's what I tell everyone coming into the program. Like, you have to earn fat loss phase. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to earn that with building your metabolism, building more muscle, and building a relationship with food, getting your hormones dialed, all that stuff. So everything was dialed in with him. That's why I felt comfortable, and he felt comfortable doing this. He was like ready for it. So, and we did, as you see from this weight graph, like on this, we did 2 spikes, we did a cut, and then basically another growth phase, and then another cut. So this is the second cut. First cut, second cut, we were still at 3,400 calories, and this one's at 2,250, right? So if you look at the second spike, this second growth phase right here, this whole increase, his weight was basically the same for a little while at 3,400 calories, and he looked like this. So he basically maintained the shape at the end of the mini cut, just a little bit more fluff. Nothing from the very first came in, right? So drastically different. So this is first picture, second picture, and third. And then we put him through the mini cut. He started losing a lot of weight. So this is the second mini cut. Now, kind of like David from the last one, he basically wanted to do the mini cut himself because coaching ended and he just wanted to do it himself. But I gave him all the tools, which is really cool. So I'm like actually really proud because he is able to now do all of this himself. Like, I asked him, do you want to continue coaching? He's like, I'm good, but I am comfortable doing it myself because he has all the data. I talked to him every week. He was accountable and he wanted to learn. He was asking questions. He was doing all the stuff. So I'm like, if he wants to do it himself, I'll let him, because I wasn't going to force him to stay in the program to do the cut that we needed to finish. He had like 3 or 4 weeks left because we were going to make it a longer mini cut. This was at week 3 or 4, and we were going to do like a total of 6 or 7 just to get him pretty shredded. But yeah, I don't know what he looks like now. I'm going to ask him later, actually. So yeah, that's Miguel, and this is Lauren. So this is more of a growth phase for Lauren, okay? So she wanted to build her glutes, build her, add more muscle, get a little bit uncomfortable with growth. So we're spending more time building rather than cutting. So we're going to be building muscle because it helps your metabolism and gut health. And spending more time building muscle will help you with fat loss phases down the road. Like I said, we're giving up the short-term goal of losing fat now for the long-term goal of making it easier down the road. Now that Lauren has more muscle, she's able to lose fat easier down the road. She wanted to do the cut herself because she's also a coach. So she just wanted me to help her with her growth phase because she was very in her head. So she's also a coach. It was more of a coach thing. I just kind of coached her to help her with the growth phase and get more strength and basically try out a program that I made. So that's Lauren. And then here we were at 1,850 calories, 185. She's really tall. So she's like 6 something. She's 6 foot. She's 6'1", 6'1", something like that. She's really tall. So, and then we ended up at 2,600 calories at 192. So this is our weight graph on the far right. Kind of sporadic, right? But you can kind of see still 185 and then 192-ish around here. So mainly a lot of glute growth and more muscle for sure. That's what she wanted. That's what we gave her. She still maintained her core, which is great. And yeah, had a lot more size to her. So, and that's it. That's kind of where I ended. So I basically just gave you how to understand, like, how to find your maintenance. I didn't go much deeper into cuts because we can, and you can maybe follow what I did with David, right? But not everyone wants to follow what I did with David. But yeah, that's basically everything with macros. There's more to do with macros. Like, macros is a huge topic that I like to talk on, but I know that numbers can be very overwhelming for people, especially if I just throw it at you and it'll be like a math class and then everyone's not going to listen, and then in one ear out the other. So I figured let's just start with maintenance and see why your body needs it, and then show you like the phases that I take people through. And then the next time we can talk about like metabolism on a deeper level if you guys want, if you guys like this stuff. I can do another poll in the Discord or something. But that's basically it. How'd you guys like it? Does anyone have any questions? We love questions. It was more like a science-y. I've been doing mindset for the last like 4 or 3 calls. So figured we needed a change. If you guys like it, but I can go back to mindset. That's my favorite shit. Someone raised their hand. Who was it? Matt, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I was trying to do a clapping, but
Oh, anyways.
no, yeah, I do appreciate it because the finite details, like you said, on your second client, it was just like constantly tracking everything, and he still was hungry. Like that kind of plays into, I think, developing your scope and view for like this is what really fulfills me food wise versus like, oh, I ate all this and man, that just left me so hungry. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You just have to stay consistent with it. Truly, it's also like just trusting the first 2 to 4 weeks of feeling a little bit uncomfortable while you're increasing food. So, but I'm pretty sure I've increased a lot of people. I've increased most people's food in here.
yeah, I know. I definitely I was not ready for the amount I needed to eat because I thought I was eating that amount. Then I was like, oh no, I'm definitely not.
Yeah. Most people need to eat more than they should to actually build muscle. Building muscle is much harder than losing fat. I can guarantee you that. So as long as you're trying to consistently give your body the food that it needs, you're going to be better off to lose fat in a much better place. So yeah. But yeah, you probably need to be tracking more too. Eating food.
Yeah. I know I've been bad about it.
No, you're good, dude. I get it. Same too. Same here. Every now and then, What did Jeff say? Jeff, you said something. Hold on. Let me go to the chat. Focusing on the scale and food adjustment is what's hard to get used to. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying the scale the scale is just a tool. That's it. Don't overemphasize the scale, because when biofeedback markers are doing way, way, way better than what the scale says, that's fine. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, but I probably look the best I ever have. It's more about strength. It's more about building muscle. It's more about sleep and relationship with food and gut health and all that stuff. Because we're not going to be at those calories forever. More of a temporary thing. So more of getting yourself out of your own head. But you're adjusting really well. You're adjusting well, dude. Because you started, you stuck to it for like 2 to 4 weeks, and then your stomach did the thing, and you're like, oh, it works. So yeah. Anyone else? I see you thinking, Anthony.
Mine's more of a question.
Sure.
I know my scale don't have the biometrics, and I was thinking, how often would you like me to go and get that scan?
Oh no, biofeedback is what your body is doing. Like everything else that's in the check-in, your energy, your stress, digestion, your relationship with food, your hunger, all that stuff, that's biofeedback.
Mm.
I think you're talking about body fat and lean mass and like water.
Skeletal mass.
Yeah, skeletal mass. You can just order the scale that's in the link tree, and that should hook up unless you're doing it manually.
Well, no, I went and did a DEXA scan.
You want to pay for $400 scan?
No, there's a place about 30 minutes from here that if you got a membership, that's like $10 a month, and as long as you buy something once a month, they let you scan for free.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, shit. Huh. Well, shit. I've never done a DEXA scan. I mean, I really don't care what my body fat looks like. That's why I'm like, I'm so. I have a lot of. What's the word? I'll die on the hill of the body fat doesn't matter, because people should focus on what your muscle mass is versus body fat. Right? People focus so much on like the percentage of body fat rather than like, hey, I have. What's your muscle mass percentage? Like, what? I've seen people super low body fat, and they're like, that's all they care about, and they look like skin and bones, and, or they're just skinny fat or whatever, and it's like, why are you? What? You're focused on the wrong thing, brother.
So my question would be, what is the difference between skeletal and lean mass?
Skeletal muscle is more of like, this is the muscle you need to survive, and lean mass is extra, but it's total. Sorry, lean mass is total. So like it includes skeletal muscle mass on top of the muscle that you need to survive. So yeah, but most people, some people use them interchangeably. It just truly depends on who you're talking to.
I just knew mine was really high. I mean, lean mass was high. And my
Yeah.
skeletal was like almost 70 pounds different.
Oh, really? Yeah. Less? 70 pounds less?
My skeletal muscle mass was like 132 something, and my mass was 209.
209. Okay. Nice. Yeah. That sounds about right. I haven't checked mine. I truly, I don't really look at it. I'm just like, I weigh in, great. The weigh-ins is just like a task that I do. It's not something like I weigh in and then I obsess over the numbers.
Mhm.
If I want to look at it, I'll analyze it like maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months. But it's not like, oh, where's my body fat at today? Like, it doesn't. Body fat percentage, it varies so fucking much, and the scales that you have are not accurate. So you're looking at like, you're basically looking down a gun barrel for no reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're just shooting yourself in the face for stressing over for nothing. So look in the mirror. How are you sleeping? How's your strength? How's your relationship with food? How's your gut health?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trust the more food is going to help you, usually, more often than not. There's more examples that I could have used here. I just didn't have the time to. This slide deck alone took me like 2 hours. I was like, what the fuck? Why is it taking so long to take these pictures? Because I have to like reference people in their journey and like go back to their profiles, and I was trying to figure it out. So yeah, dude. Anyone have any questions? We could talk about gut health next time too. That would be a good topic. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, because I know for someone like myself, it's gonna take like to get the type of muscle I want to build.
Mhm.
Besides the consistency with the food and exercising, like, yeah, I'm curious, like, how much that gut health affects its ability for that too.
Everything. It affects everything, dude. If you have a leaky bucket, you're not going to hold water, right? That's what gut health is. And people that don't have optimized a gut microbiome or like bacteria, that's the good bacteria, you're just going to be leaking out nutrients. You're not absorbing the protein. You're not absorbing all the like the good fats and the good carbs and the fiber. Like it's just leaking and it's just going through you. So
Okay. That would make sense, because that generally, like, whenever I eat food, it feels like it just always is going straight through me. So
Yeah, I used to be like that too because I was making like 1,000-calorie shakes, like smoothies,
yeah,
and I'm like, this is the easiest way for me to get my calories in, so I have to do it. And ever since I like after my show or even during prep when I was only eating whole food and I stayed with that switch, that helped me a fuck ton. Just
yeah. I've
absorbing,
been on a shake kick lately, so I probably need to tone that down.
yeah, just make them smaller. It's okay to have a shake. I'm not saying like, liquid calories are bad, but for my specific situation, I need to eat just whole food. So I don't do any protein powder anymore. I just straight food. And yeah, it's a little bit more bloaty, but my gut health feels great rather than like liquidy. So
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, it's important for building muscle because otherwise you don't get any nutrients that your body needs to build a muscle. And if you're eating 3,600 calories and you're leaking out 500, then you're not eating enough. You know what I mean? So I'm probably in a somewhat of a deficit, if anything, or maintenance, a low maintenance.
yeah. I definitely been in like maintenance period. So
Yeah. But we can talk about that next one. That'd be a good topic, gut health, and then like metabolism. I can go a little bit deeper on that because there's a lot of fucking sciencey stuff on metabolism and gut health. But yeah, good question though, dude. Anyone else have any questions? Or any like not even questions, but just feedback. If you guys like this stuff, let me know. I can always do more of it. Or if you guys like the mindset stuff, I can talk about that. I did a training call once. I should probably do another training call, like exercise, gut health and metabolism for sure. Okay, we'll talk about that next time. Solid. I have an idea now. I'll have to make a note.
training call sounds cool too.
What does?
Doing the training call.
Oh, training, like actual. Okay, yeah, we could do maybe a little bit of both. Yeah, it's important. I have a lot of. Everyone has access to the videos though in Instagram, just so everyone knows.
Yep.
Or not the videos, but like the folders. If you
Yep.
don't know where it's at, you go to your profile and then the 3 little lines in the top right, and then you go to your saved posts, and you should be able to see all your like the compound and technique folder, all the reels that I add to the folders in the chat. That's where they go. So you always have access to them.
Yeah, I accidentally the other day sent that ice cream thing. I meant to put it in my private, and it went to like one of the exercise ones.
Oh, I mean, you could. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. I can just move it to like
I think I was able to take it out, so we're good.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, you can always add stuff too. Like everyone has the ability to add food to the folders too. Like if you want to add a macro friendly meal to the folder, you can. But yeah, we can talk about metabolism. But does anyone have any questions about their specific situation even? Or like how you would go about approaching a situation if you guys need.
I don't know if mine's a question or a statement, but last time I went to the doctor to get like a checkup, blood work type thing, I don't know. They told me that my body overproduces protein. So it's like, and they told me that creatine was bad for me. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But like my dad and my grandpa both had this same thing where their body overproduced proteins. I forgot what they called it. Like we have a bunch of protein in our blood. And I was just wondering like if that was why like I'm able to hit PRs and grow muscle faster than it is for me to lose fat in a way. I can drop 10 pounds in a week easily or gain 10 pounds in a week easily.
Your testosterone is probably optimized, dude. What did you know what your testosterone was at?
No, I didn't check that.
I mean, maybe your amino acid absorption is just really optimized, and some people have that, and that's cool. So must be nice. No, I'm just kidding. So,
Like,
but yeah, some people just have like better transportation of amino acids in their body, and that's cool.
for an example, when I started working out again, probably about 3 years ago, like I worked out heavy in high school. I gained 25 pounds of pure muscle in a year, and it was just like everyone was like, "Oh, you're on this, you're on that." I was like, "No, I'm not." But I was just wondering if you would know if that had anything to do.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
Like
I-
Mike said, that's a good gene factor there.
Yeah, I mean, I would need to see blood work in order for me to like give you an answer. But like I said, the best guess I can do is you have just really optimized amino acid absorption. So like, yeah, that's good. That's ideal. Trying to be like you, my boy.
Man, you already look better than I do.
I need to eat a fuck ton of protein, dude. Yeah, good question. That was more of a question. Yeah, not a statement. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? Comments, concerns? Big wins? No? Yes?
Big wins. I hit a curl PR again.
Oh, god damn it. All right. Did you curl the car this time?
145 6 times
God damn it, dude. Holy shit.
on the preacher curl.
You have video?
I do.
I want to see.
All right.
Put it in the chat.
You can't put it in this chat. Okay, I'll put it in the Instagram chat.
Yeah. Your biceps might not fit the screen. In the chat.
Well, they're only like 19.
Oh, only. Only. Probably like half of that.
What
Yeah.
about big wins? I know you're training for your powerlifting meet.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm getting my ass kicked every day. It's the best. Every day. Yeah. Today was more of like a chiller day, but still it's a lot of volume that I'm not used to. I used to do this style a long time ago, but every time I do it, it's like fuck. So yeah. I got peptides. I just need to actually start using them consistently. Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Basically recover. I'm gonna basically break my left leg and then see how fast I can recover. Yeah. But it's fun. I enjoy it though. It's a challenge. So that's why I'm doing it. For the most part. Maybe I'll do like a high rocks or like a CrossFit challenge next time. So but yeah, guys. Any last questions or concerns before I let y'all go and be free, little elves? That's from Harry Potter, if you didn't notice. Anyone? Alrighty.
I got a suggestion though.
Sure.
Maybe you should do a call on like goals and supplementation. Like what supplementation is good for what goals?
What supplementation is good for what goals? There's a reason I don't give a lot of supplementation protocol. Unless it's to like optimize something. It's never to like
I know you want us to do it through food. I get that.
it's not even just food, it's just like overall lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like super greens aren't gonna help you. That's bullshit. You guys saw the myths, the basically the fitness myths, all the supplements. It's exactly that video. I wholeheartedly believe with everything that he said. Because it's all fucking just marketing. I still just do pre-workout, creatine, protein. I don't even do protein powder anymore. So just creatine and fucking pre-workout, and then some vitamin D3 and zinc, just to like help with testosterone and yeah, that's it. But I'll do it. Hey, buddy. I'll add it into the metabolism and gut health one, maybe, and then we'll see. Yeah, I would say get blood work to determine if you need supplement. Yeah. Yes, get blood work done. It helps a lot. And then instead of just throwing spaghetti at the wall. But otherwise, if your body is telling you that like that you need a certain supplement, then yeah. Gut health. Yeah. What's wrong? What's up with your gut health, Allie?
Nothing in particular.
I'm just full. I'm so full all the time.
I know. I feel you. I feel you. Trust me.
Don't worry, I
feel
cried
like I
last
don't
week when
even
you
feel
raised
like
my food.
hungry. I'm just like, oh, it's time to eat again.
It's time to eat. It's the best.
Yay.
It's the best.
The
Waste
best for whom?
If you want to build, you gotta build. You gotta build the body of your dreams, not cut the body of your dreams. So
I know.
you know.
I'm trying.
You can do liquid calories too if you want. Like I said, it's a temporary solution, but it's not always ideal.
No. Mama ain't raised no bitch.
True. That's a fact.
I'm literally about to go check my protein and figure out, do I need to eat some more chicken?
Have more balanced meals too. You know, like don't just eat chicken alone. I notice some people do that every now and then. I'm like, hey, just have it with a fruit or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I did have a fruit not too long ago with some yogurt, so I'm just like, okay, let me clock that in and see if he needs more chicken.
There you go. That's good. That works. That works. Yeah. Don't underestimate the power of more food, because you'll be surprised how much more muscle and how much different your body will look in the second cut. That's why I showed you guys Miguel. Because even though we didn't finish the second cut, he looked like, as we were getting through it, the second cut was way better than the first one because we spent time building more muscle and getting uncomfortable. It's fun. I promise. You get strong, you get big, you get thick. Yeah. Meatloaf with potatoes. Interesting. Isn't meatloaf just potato? Isn't meatloaf a carb basically like a majority?
Shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie. Huh? Yeah. Shepherd's pie.
But how do you do it without that cheese layer on top?
Yeah, there's a lot of cheese in shepherd's pie. Or meatloaf too, right? No, I don't know.
Meatloaf's more saucy.
No, yeah, I've never seen anybody put cheese on meatloaf.
Yeah.
I think they'll put like ketchup or some sort of like sauce topping, but that's about it. Not everybody does it. Like, I know I like with my mom makes it like she doesn't. It's just straight up just the meat and like maybe a couple of vegetables are mixed in there, and that's about it.
Ketchup or steak sauce. Interesting. I haven't had meatloaf since probably like 10 years, dude. I'm gonna be real.
Make it with meat.
Huh?
Make it with Boston meat, not hamburger meat. So much better.
Okay. For the next time that I do it in the next 10 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to have it because I'm in Texas, so I'll have to have meatloaf at one point.
Is that like a requirement
I don't know, isn't it?
when
I
you
mean,
live in
I'm hearing
Texas?
barbecue in Texas is like a staple.
Meatloaf in Texas? I know brisket
No, just barbecue in general.
or barbecue.
So,
Doesn't meatloaf fit under that?
If you-
not really?
Like a side? Like a side. You know,
No, meatloaf. Honestly, meatloaf be a meal in itself, and then you have your potatoes and some vegetable
home
on the
style.
side.
Oh, okay. I don't know fuck about fuck. So I don't.
Mike, you can get your own meatloaf recipe, and it could be right. It's like a macronutrient meatloaf.
Or like a macro friendly one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. It's just chicken.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot of protein, that's for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
So
I'm more of a taco guy. So I'll make some delicious ass fucking tacos that are gourmet. But
yeah, I like doing like a birria tacos. Those are good.
birria, yeah.
Yeah.
Birria is hard to make though. I just buy that.
It's a long process,
Same.
especially all the
Long.
chilies.
Yeah, you gotta get grandma's recipe for that shit.
But like, how do you substitute that cheese though?
For shepherd's pie, that's a good question.
No,
Yeah,
for
that-
tacos.
Oh, tacos?
Yeah,
the cheese?
yeah.
I don't
Usually, at least
usually.
the ones that I've seen, they always like it's like in order to like close them, it's like 90% cheese.
Oh, on like the birria. Well, I don't know. I'm okay with the cheese, especially because like it's not really bad for you if you're doing like a Chihuahua cheese versus like the I don't know, like Kraft cheese.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah, don't do the Kraft cheese. But if you get like some fresh Chihuahua or like queso, I feel like that's like it's similar to like feta in a
Yeah.
way. So
Very much so. Or like Oaxaca.
Oaxaca's good.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Y'all stop. This sounds so tasty.
All right, I'm gonna go eat because I'm hungry as fuck now. Appreciate it. So ramp up your metabolisms. We'll talk about gut health next time. Go get some food. I'll see y'all in the chat.
All right. See you later.
Bye guys, and bye Mirza.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye, Ali.
Thanks everyone.
Guys.